Hi everybody, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video, as you can see by the thumbnail, is not about Disney World, but it is the update to my weight loss surgery that has been very much anticipated by a lot of you. So thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you find this informational. And for those of you going through the same procedures for weight loss surgery, or any weight loss surgery for that matter, I hope you find this hopeful for your upcoming journey. So it's been a little bit over 2 months since the actual day of surgery, which was July 18th. The last video that you saw, the first video on my weight loss surgery, was very much from the heart, as I hope this one is. There's no script, I don't have bullet points, I don't have notes. I just want to share my experience with you so that you can feel encouraged going through this journey. I received so many kind and very emotional notes from friends, family, and complete strangers who thanked me for being so raw and honest. And that was the entire point of the video. So I can't promise no tears here. For some reason, talking about weight, and even in a positive way, really does something internally to me, because it's so close to my heart and it's something that I've struggled with for so long. So let's go back to the day of surgery. It's July. It's middle of July. It's July 18th. The procedure itself takes about an hour. I had the gastric sleeve, or I have the gastric sleeve, which is where 80% of your stomach, if your stomach is kind of shaped like a kidney bean, just simply gets removed. Unlike gastric bypass, there is no physical bypass with the science of my surgery, so it's a lot more simple than moving and rerouting some of your intestines, which I don't have. So my stomach is approximately the size of a cheese stick. That's what I was told. They show you photos of a banana, but that's actually much too large for what you actually come out with. So Mark and I arrived to the hospital on time for our early entrance. And as to be expected, there were delays in previous surgeries. I wasn't the first of the day. So we had a couple of hours where we just watched TV, we chatted, before we even got to go into a bed and get into my Johnny and talk to the nurses. The nurses at South Coast were incredible. All of my nurses until recovery surgery were men, just as a note. All were named Scott, in fact, and they go through the same information that you would prior to any surgery. You know, you have to double check your emergency band, you go through what you're doing that day, and then they kind of prep you for what happens when you come out of surgery. And this is a point that I'm really glad they made. I am a type A person. When I got the workbook for surgery, I went ahead, I did all of the exercises, I highlighted, I tabbed, I paid attention and took notes in my classes that I had to take. So what I wasn't prepared for was the gas pain. And that's what one of my excellent male nurses named Scott told me. He said, when you come out of this surgery, even when you are under anesthesia, you're going to feel really intense pain in your chest, like you can't breathe, but you're okay. It's just that they pump your stomach full of so much gas to expand it so that the surgeons can get to the parts that they need to. So I initially was like, great, whatever. I've had surgery before. I've had my meniscus repaired. I've had tonsillectomy. I've had an appendix removed. Not a problem. So the surgery itself went really smoothly. I was wheeled into the operating room and got to talk to the anesthesiologist before I was put under. I moved myself over into the bed. I was nervous, as I think anybody having surgery would be, but this was my first elective surgery. So what that means is that for all of the other surgeries, meniscus, tonsils, and appendix, those were all planned and had to be fixed for the safety of the rest of my life. Now, I'm going to qualify that because I argue that my weight loss surgery needed to happen for my life to be fixed for the rest of my life. The path that I was on and the measures that I was taking were really unhealthy and would have, I suspect, led to some type of eating disorder because I was not seeing results. No matter what I was doing. Exercise, supplements, removing entire portions of food, too small portions, binging, making myself sick. Like, all were leading down a very unhealthy path and an emotionally unstable path. The recovery process has shown me that I have spent so much time thinking about my body and my weight when I could be thinking about my daughter or my husband or my family, my career, what choices I'm making. I put so much effort into hiding myself. And I didn't realize that until after surgery. So, sorry, looping back to the original point, just really went off on a tangent there. So, elective surgery means that you are choosing it, that it is not medically necessary. I think my surgery was medically necessary. I know that there are going to be people in the world who think that I took the lazy, easy way out. And that's okay. They can think that because I know that's not true. And I know that anyone who has gone through this process would agree that this is not the easy way out, that the easy way out is not having to get here in the first place. So this was the first time I'm laying in the bed before going in to meet with the anesthesiologist, and I am genuinely thinking, do I want to do this? Am I ruining a part of my life? Will I ever be normal again? Do I need this? And I watched this really beautiful, long, blonde, mermaid-haired girl go before me, and her parents told her, this is going to change everything for you. And I just stayed quiet because I knew that if I opened my mouth, Mark was sitting next to me, I would have said, I don't want to do this anymore. And that would have been one of the worst mistakes of my life. So I go into anesthesia. I obviously don't remember going under. They tell you count back from 10 and then you get to like 7 and you're asleep. And then I am a hard anesthesia waker upper. I'm not someone who comes out of surgery like my sister. She comes out, she's peppy, she wants to eat. She's ready to go. I'm like groggy. I never remember waking up in the recovery room, including this time. But what I remember was the pain. And I'm not telling this to cause fear. I'm telling you this because if you're doing this, you should know that the first 24 hours are rough. So I woke up, I'm in a bed, I'm wheeled into a room, and the pain was so intense that I threw up on the way to the room. So, and I remember coming out of that. I remember asking the nurse, like I remember saying, throw up, but I was so groggy I couldn't make a full sentence. So they gave me like a pink basin and I was able to throw up in that. And that relieved some of the pain. Now, ever since I had kidney stones, I have been a pain equals barfer person. And it does, in that moment of throwing up, relieve some of the pain. So I remember getting into the room, I've already thrown up, and my eyes are closed, and I know I have a morphine button. And I know it only releases a certain amount of morphine like every 8 seconds, but I am pushing that to save my life because the gas is so unreal. Now, I don't have any of that pain now, and within 72 hours, most of the gas was gone. But those first 24 hours were tough. They were tough. That full day of surgery where you do have a morphine button, you are on complete stomach rest. So they will give you swabs that you can dunk into water and like you can then rub against your cheeks, but you have to spit the water out. Like you're swallowing nothing except for your own saliva. And you're not hungry, right? You're coming out of anesthesia, you're on all kinds of drugs, you're in pain, you're not physically hungry, but it's a long day and they want you to get up and walk. So with help, you're able to kind of like, it's like you've had a C-section, right? You need somebody to help you get out of the bed and walk around, and you do not care that you're in a Johnny. You do not care that your bum's out, that you're in so much pain, it doesn't matter. And I was throwing up semi-regularly on that first day. And I remember seeing primarily women in the hallway who were clearly there for the same thing I was there for, and wondering why, how do they look so good? Like they looked flushed and they looked clean and they looked with it. And I was just trying to survive those first 24 hours. And I laid in that bed and thought to myself, girl, you made a mistake. You ruined this. You regret this immediately. This is now your life. Can I get my stomach back? I'd rather be fat. And I didn't vocalize that because I didn't want to give it truth. You know, when you say something out loud and somehow you realize it becomes true, I didn't want that to be something other people remembered me saying. So I stayed quiet. I watched a lot of TV. I tried to rest, but they are coming in. So the other thing is that you have to get shots every like 8 hours so that you don't get any blood clots because you're laying down. And you have to crunch up all of your medication. So at the time I was still on Wellbutrin. Oh, disgusting. Disgusting when it's crushed. Like soul-destroyingly disgusting. It makes you gag. It's so gross. So they're cutting up pills for you and you're taking tiny sips of water. The next morning, day 2, they bring you 4 8-ounce bottles of water, and your job is to sip that throughout the day. That's your job, to get in 32 ounces of liquid. I threw up the first 6 sips, maybe. I could not keep that down because my sips were too big. I was taking them too frequently. It was really hard. Plus, I was super tired, so I just kept like passing out in the middle of the day. And they bring you a liquid dinner, which was soup, and I couldn't do it. So I desperately wanted to go home on that 3rd day. They'll release you in the morning if you've gotten all your liquids in. And I knew that if I didn't try to get everything in, that they weren't going to let me go home. So I worked really hard all night long. Like, I mean, from midnight to 4 a.m., sipping and sipping and sipping. I was watching a Sex and the City marathon, actually, and every time there was a commercial, I would try to get something in. So they told me too, when you're eating a meal, that in those 22 minutes without commercials, you should be like on track to finish what you need. So the monitoring of the television really did help. I was walking more by myself the next day. When Mark saw me, he said, you know, it's amazing what 24 hours, how they make a difference. I was feeling less gassy. I could move much more on my own. I was, you know, up and at 'em every couple of hours by myself. And then that 3rd day is really what made the difference. So I was able to eat like 8 ounces of tomato soup. Maybe it was 4. I'm pretty sure it was 8, but it was 2 meals. I was all done with my shots. I was off morphine within that like 24 to 30 hours. Things were really looking up on that last day. So I was really happy to go home and recover here. So once you're released home, there's like a week where you are just a potato. You're tired because you're eating like 40 calories a day. You're on a full liquid diet. You will hate soup. You'll hate soup. I loved soup. Bye, soup. Do not love you anymore. You're on a liquid diet for a while. My family went on vacation and I was cleared to go with them. I actually had a doctor's appointment on a Friday, which was a week after surgery, after I had been released. And they want to look at your scars because you have 5 or 6 small incisions, and they want to check in with you. How are you doing emotionally? They weigh you, etc. And then I asked if I'd be okay to go to New Hampshire, and we literally, Mark and I, left from there to go to New Hampshire for a little family getaway. My mom rented a cabin. It was very nice. But while I was there, like, you know, my family's doing normal things. They're eating McDonald's. They're drinking Diet Coke. They're eating cookies. And I'm like trying to eat liquid and get all my vitamins in. Like, everything was so prescribed and scheduled because you can't swallow pills. So everything has to be crushed or in liquid form. Like, those first 2 weeks, you really are 100% devoted to just what you're eating during the day. You're setting timers for yourself. It's a lot of work in those first 2 weeks. I'm definitely not on autopilot 2 months out, but I do feel like I have a better handle of it. And I've moved through all the stages. So stage 1 is simply water. Stage 2 is liquid diet. Stage 3 is liquids, including strained soups. Stage 4 is like soft, mushy foods that you have to mush with a fork. And then stage 5 is like your maintenance, whatever you are going to eat for the rest of your life, which is usually high protein, low carbs, etc. So last week was my first week with like the full stage 5. And I'm learning that I tolerate certain foods better than others. I am definitely trying to not get in a rut of like every day I eat the same things. I want to be able to add certain things back in, and I'm starting to notice my body's cues when I'm finally full, which does not take very much. So a question I get asked a lot is, well, how much can you actually eat in one sitting? And right now it's between 2 and 4 tablespoons. I have to do it slowly, and I have to chew everything to like the size, like it's mushy until it feels like applesauce. But that way I can assure myself that I'm not going to get sick. If you're not on our email list, I'm going to put in the description box below a subscription link, because there is a story about one time when I did get sick. And the quote from my doctor was, never trust a fart. Lesson learned. So if you want to hear that gross story, you can be part of it. Just email and I will send it to you. So I am eating really small quantities. By the end of the year, I should be able to eat like something that looks like this in terms of portion per sitting. So right now, the side effects are exhaustion. I'm back at work. We are in mid-September, actually a little bit later. So doing a full day without a nap, because that was really saving me over the summer, and then coming home to make dinner and parent and be a human is exhausting when you're eating so few calories a day. And the other side effect is no medication. So I'm off Wellbutrin, which I'm really proud of. I'm off melatonin, which I'm also excited about. And the only things I'm taking regularly are my vitamins, which I have to take forever. So my next question when I get to have another follow-up appointment will be, can I start swallowing pills? Because right now I'm eating children's multivitamin tablets twice a day, like once in the morning, once at night. And they're so gross. I don't know how I liked Flintstone vitamins when I was a kid. They're awful. They're so gross, like adding flavor. Ugh. And I can't have gummies. They're not supposed to be gummies because gummies don't offer you the same nutritional benefits. The big question I get asked is, how much weight have you lost? And it is a little over 40 pounds. So I've gone from like a size 18, 20 to right now I consider myself a 14, like a true 14. And I'm averaging half a pound a day. it's really exciting to weigh myself and see the progress go down. I am under 200. I haven't been in this Wonderland place in a really, really long time. So when I first stepped on the scale and it was under 200, it was like 199.1 or something. And I was just under, but I was so happy. So happy. I weigh myself Friday mornings, and I do it super early in the morning before I go to work. And Mark has made it kind of a tradition that I wake him up and that he stands next to me while I weigh myself. And I can see my body changing. And I'm starting to get, you can't see it because this is also big, but these flappies here and here. Starting to get some real loose skin there. So I can start weight training in a couple of weeks, and I won't be able to do cardio until like 6 months in. But I'm making sure that I'm like meeting my move goals every day using my Apple Watch, because I do want to stay active. I just can't do like I can't walk into a spin class and be like, I'm ready, I'll pass out. And that's part to do with the calories, but also partially to do with hydration. So the two like biggest takeaways were you need to get upwards of 60 grams of protein a day, which I still struggle with because I don't have like the eating capacity to get there. And you need to be drinking like half your body weight in water. And Lord, I hate water. It can't be seltzer. So it's just plain water. You got any tips on how to spice that up, world? I'm never going to be a person who's like, water. No alcohol, no Diet Coke. Kicked that one for good. And I feel good. I know that I've said this. I just can't reinforce how little I think about my body during the day. Does that resonate with anyone else? Like, I was just giving so much energy and space to worrying about being the fattest person in the room, and did my students notice how much I've tugged my pants or pulled a sweater down? Like, I don't know how I had space for anything else. And the only other time I felt that way was right after birth. Because you're too busy to think about the weird things your body's doing. You're fully in survival mode with the newborn. And I just feel like I wasted 3 years of Callie's life worrying about what I looked like when I should have been worrying about her. Or could I have been a better mother or a better wife? Worrying about that, seeking that type of like external validation from other people. Because is this what healthy weight, healthy mind people think about? Like they just don't think about their bodies during the day? Or when they think about them, it's positive? I haven't gotten to that hump yet. Because when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm still extremely self-critical. But I'm hoping someday when I look in the mirror, I'm like, dang, look how strong your body is and how far you've come. So that's the update, friends. I have one video to include at the very end, and that is after my doctor's appointment. I've only had one. So it's been 2 months and I've had a follow-up. I have a couple more in October, and I promise to keep you in the loop then as well. If you want to see before and after photos, you have to be on the email list. I'm not 1000% comfortable posting my before and afters here because the before, I'm in a sports bra and leggings. But if you're interested in seeing like what my scars on my stomach look like or before and afters, make sure you subscribe because that email is coming. I really, really don't want to send it into the world, but I also know that looking at the proof is helpful. I'm going to do a separate video also on like the cost breakdown of this and also what I've been doing for clothing. Isn't this fun? It's like a kimono. Ooh, ooh. Hello, stomach. Because with this type of rapid weight loss, I'm not buying clothes in every size. So I have some like creative style solutions that are less than purchasing a new wardrobe every time you go down a size. But I hope this information helps. I'm not sure who you are watching this video, if you're just curious about this process or if you are thinking about doing this. Do it. Do it. It's life-changing, and it's only been 10 weeks for me. Mark asked me yesterday, did you have a great summer? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he was like, even though you were in recovery? And I said, yes. Even though I was in recovery, I had a great summer. I've learned so much about myself, about my thought process, my body, my coping mechanisms. And he said, well, what do you think about next summer? And I told him that I think next summer is going to be maybe the best of my life. And that's because I'm going to be so confident in everything about me. Not just who I am as a person or what I believe or what I know, but I'll finally be confident about the outside package. Like the outside will finally match the inside. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I work on that every day. I'm happier. I'm happier. And it doesn't have to do with the vanity of looking at a size. It has to do with the free space in my brain to think about things I care about, to act on things I care about, and to leave behind the self-consciousness of who's looking at me and what do they think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they think. Their thoughts about my body are none of my business. The only thing that I should be caring about is how I feel and the example that I'm setting. So with that, thank you for watching. We'll be back very soon with more Fairy Tale Family content. And let me know if you thought this was helpful and if you would like a part 3 in a couple more months, because I'm happy to keep doing update videos. Thank you guys so much for being part of this journey with me. It really makes a difference in how much I think about this and how I perceive the information that's important or not important. I love you, and until next time, bye.
Well, if we're being very honest, this kind of sucks. Ouch, hiccups. I'm less than 24 hours out of surgery. I've been resting a lot and drinking water in medicine cups. I'm supposed to get through 4 of these 8-ounce bottles, and I've had this one since 5:30 this morning, and I'm not done with it yet. So slow going. I did try to eat some soup, promptly barfed her up. There's been some barf, although there's nothing really to throw up. There's been the act of barfing, which is usually just like a lot of trapped gas, because that's the most uncomfortable part. Like the incision area is sore, and I think can be modified with Tylenol. My morphine pump is gone already. I'm not on any heavy drugs, but the gas part, nothing alleviates that, and it's just like sitting here in my chest. So I've been trying to get up and do some walking by myself and my trusty bag-a-rooney, but that's where we are. So I'm scheduled to go home tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna sit in the car and not throw up. I might have to bring a bucket with me. Any type of movement usually makes my stomach go crazy, so that's where we are. Fingers crossed it gets better from here. I'm just trying to be patient, give myself some grace, and go slowly. So that's update number 1 post-surge. Hi everybody. We are officially, today's Saturday, I was discharged today. I had surgery on Thursday around 1 or 2 o'clock. So we are officially 48 hours post-operation. I did get to leave today because I met my liquid quota. in the hospital that you have to drink before you can leave. I came home, I took a shower, which felt awesome, and I'm in like full-on recovery mode. I have super puffy hands still, like you can't see my knuckles from having an IV in that hand. Obviously, my stitches are sore. I did just take some Tylenol, some liquid Tylenol, and some of my vitamins that I'm charged with taking in the morning and in the evening. And I had a little broth for dinner. I'm sipping on some water. So definitely progress. I still feel sluggish and slow. And there's still some nausea and pain. I did take Zofran, which is an anti-nausea drug. That was one of the prescriptions that the doctor called in. So I'm hoping that works, because I had a patch, scopoline, behind my ear during the days that I was in the hospital, and I took that off when I got into the shower today. So that was supposed to be anti-nausea as well. So I'm just resting. Sorry, I'm listening to Callie in the outdoor shower. I'm just resting. I'm hoping that I sleep well tonight. And that's kind of it. I can't lift anything heavier than 15 pounds for the next month. I do have a headache. That could be for so many reasons. So one of it could be from not having caffeine, because Diet Coke, you know, my BFF, we broke up a few days ago. So it could be caffeine related. It could be exhaustion related. It could be surgery related. So that's where I am. Thank you for following along. It is getting slowly better day by day.
Hi. So it is July 26th, and I am at South Coast Weight Loss for my first checkup. It's been 8 days since surgery. At this point, I have lost a little over 15 pounds. I am still on my lovely liquid diet of high protein, soup, water. Let me tell you that I'm over that. My pain is manageable. I haven't taken anything for pain since the hospital. So I've just been living and laying on the couch and reading and walking and napping. So first appointment, feeling pretty good, a little sore. Not all my steri strips have fallen off yet, but overall, not regretting it like I was within those 24 hours, and looking forward to what's to come. In 8 more days, I get to eat a piece of cheese. That, my friends, is a countdown.